Welcome into the Wiltfong Whiparound with Steve Wiltfong. We are live. Today is Thursday, October 30th, and as always, I'm your host, Josh Newberg. We have arrived at the next stop. It is week 10. The coaching carousel is spinning. Recruits, they're starting to look around. We got rumors swirling left and right. Lots of new developments to tackle today on the Wiltfong Whiparound. I'm excited to talk with Steve today because nobody in this game is more dialed in than this guy at this time of year. So we're going to go behind the scenes on some of this big news that's breaking as we speak. But first, guys, do me a favor. If you've watched one of these Whiparound shows this season, hit subscribe because the next 5 weeks are about to get crazy. Also, great time to join Rivals today and get 1 full year access to The Athletic, plus all the On3 and national content as well. I'll put the link in the description of this video. All right, let's bring in Steve Wiltfong. Steve, we're going to start in Columbus. Ohio State has a massive recruiting weekend on tap. Number one, now we're going to talk 2026. There's some important things going down in this class, but 2027 is unbelievable. Number one running back Kamon Spell is on campus, and so is number one corner John Meredith.
They're also looking to get number one offensive tackle Mark Matthews there, Josh. At the start of the year, this looked like it was going to be one of the premier games in college football. This is going to be a game that could help Ohio State play for the national championship for years to come. On the recruiting front with guys that are expected in, Kamon Spell, number one ranked running back in the country. This is his second time visiting Ohio State this season. The Rivals prediction machine is trending Notre Dame coming out of a recent visit to South Bend. He has a great relationship with Notre Dame running backs coach Jawan Sider. They love what Notre Dame offers on and off the field, and certainly the style of play and what guys like Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price are doing on the field. But Ohio State is right there in the thick of this recruitment, has a great relationship with Coach Lachlan, and I think the Buckeyes are one of the front runners as well. It's a big return visit to campus for Kamon Spell and his family as they reopen the process. He attended the win over Texas to kick off the season. Ohio State has been prominent even with him before the decommitment to Penn State. With John Meredith, safeties coach Matt Gear, he already went down there and visited it on Friday of the bye week. Coach Tim Walton's been involved. Ohio State's looking to make a move on Texas A&M, Alabama, and others for the Lone Star State standout. And Mark Matthews has always been intrigued by Ohio State. They've been one of his front runners in his process and getting him on campus. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ohio State make a big move with him as well.
Yeah, expecting some big name 2027s on campus, but right now we're going to switch to 2026, where this current Ohio State class checks in at number 7 in the Rivals industry rankings, and corner is a position of need for the Buckeyes with only 5 weeks left in this cycle. Couple targets have emerged this week. It was announced, well, CJ Brono announced it. The Florida commitment announced that Ohio State has offered. Now he's going to go visit there in about 2 weeks. But this weekend, another flip target, Jay Timmons, is on campus. He's committed to Florida State. What is going on between Timmons and the Buckeyes?
Yeah, CJ told me he'll be at Ohio State for the UCLA game. Jay Timmons is excited to be at the Buckeyes campus for this game against Penn State. He's been building a great rapport with Tim Walton. Now, his father was obviously a great player at Florida State, drafted in the first round, had a long, distinguished career in the NFL. And Ohio State's track record of development, the magnitude of the program, the way they prepare their players for the next level, the way they prepare them off the field. He's talking real estate opportunities and things of that nature with Ohio State. It is a very exciting opportunity for him. He looks forward to seeing more and learning more about Ohio State this weekend as they become a program to definitely watch in the Jay Timmons sweepstakes. This is a guy that's tracking towards a 5th star in the Rivals rankings, our number 2 ranked corner. He's ranked inside the top 32. Would be a major pickup for Ohio State to close out this class.
Yeah, Timmons committed to FSU while Brono committed to UF. Both teams having subpar seasons, so Ohio State looking to capitalize on that. Also this weekend, speaking of capitalizing, major offensive line flip target is set to visit. Steve, why is Kevin Brown, the number 3 ranked interior offensive lineman in the country, so significant to this weekend?
Well, he's a guy that would be a difference maker in any recruiting class. Rivals number 3 interior offensive line recruit. He's been committed to Penn State for a long time, chose the Nittany Lions over Notre Dame, among others, visited West Virginia this week already. His dad played his college football for the Mountaineers. Ohio State making a late push here, getting him on campus, wants to continue gaining ground on Penn State in this recruitment. They're obviously playing the Nittany Lions this weekend and getting Tyler Bowen, Ryan Day, and this coaching staff around him, getting him around the culture, seeing how he would fit in with the guys in the offensive line room, talk about the way they develop their players, why Ohio State's in championship discussions year in and year out. They look forward to flexing this weekend and trying to make a big move for Kevin Brown.
All right, let's stay in the trenches on the defensive line. There's another big flip target on campus this weekend, Steve.
Yeah, Jimmy Alo Suliafu is committed to North Carolina. He's from the Lone Star State. He's 6'4", 270 pounds. Ohio State offered this fall. He is a very disruptive player, 12 stops for loss in the first 7 games. He's forced 2 fumbles, has 4 sacks, several hurries. Ohio State's bringing him in this weekend, and things are looking more and more promising with each passing day. Now, North Carolina, they've done a good job getting this recruiting class together. This is someone that they were in on early. They've done a good job with NIL and all those things. But Ohio State, this offer was obviously very exciting for him. He got it recently. Now he's coming up to campus, and the Buckeyes are on the gas to flip him.
All right, Steve. Who else are you as if there's more names to talk about, who else are you tracking this weekend in Columbus?
Yeah, the number 4 corner in the country, Zay Hassan, will be up at Ohio State this weekend. Number 5 receiver in the land, Keyshawn Bowman, visiting for a second time. Ohio State, one of the front runners for the former Oregon commit. Tennessee is involved, Alabama, to name a few others. Miami's coming off a great trip to Miami, but Ohio State getting Keyshawn Bowman back for a second time after he enjoyed the win over the Longhorns to start the season.
All right, Ohio State fans, how you feeling? You know, at one point this was going to be maybe the biggest game of the season, Penn State coming to Columbus, but now, like Steve said, it's just a huge opportunity for Ohio State to capitalize and win over some recruits. So that being said, what recruits do you think Ohio State will be in good shape with coming out of this weekend? Let us know. Comment section below. Steve, let's talk Michigan. Purdue comes to town, and Michigan has a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Plenty of time for these flip targets to be on campus. That's what we're talking about in this video. Michigan flip targets. Wisconsin linebacker Aiden Reeder is the first one we're going to hit on. Reeder is a player in a position of need for Michigan. How big of a priority is he, Steve?
Yeah, Reeder committed to Wisconsin right now, Josh. He hails from Cincinnati, St. Xavier. He is a guy that Michigan is really pushing for late in the 2026 cycle. I spoke to Aiden this week. He said Michigan's a great school academically and athletically. And being a kid from Ohio, I grew up knowing all about the history and players that Michigan has developed. I'm looking forward to the visit. The Wolverines have had success at Powerhouse St. Xavier before. I think we see them make a big move this weekend with Aiden Reeder. I also think Michigan, by the time toe meets leather for kickoff Saturday night, they're hosting another linebacker committed elsewhere. So we'll have more on that on the Recruit Reaction Show on Saturday, and then certainly on Monday's Wiltfong Whiparound next week.
Yeah, and as always with some of the late kickoffs, it always gives an opportunity to allow some surprise visitors, even though you might know who they already are right now. You're just not telling us, but it'll be a surprise to us on Saturday on that Recruit Reaction Show. So I want to talk a little bit more. We know we talk with E.J. Holland and you on here all the time about Michigan looking for more DBs. Obviously, Haven Finney, his name gets even more interesting. We've talked a lot about Haven Finney, who is from Los Angeles but committed to LSU. A lot on this channel in terms of Michigan trying to make a push, but now that Brian Kelly has been fired, it looks like he's involved. And then also news this week that they are entering the sweepstakes for Jay Timmons, a Florida State commitment. Flipping DB seems to be a priority for Michigan right now.
Yeah, corner's a position of need for them as they shore up a recruiting class that's tracking to be top 10 nationally for a second straight cycle. Finney is one that they never relented on, and Coach Sharon Moore has been leading the charge. He was not going to take any more visits, but once Brian Kelly was fired, his father told me that visits are likely. And he mentioned a few schools, Michigan, Tennessee, Texas. The only coach he mentioned, Sharon Moore. So he is making an impression from the Wolverines corner office. Michigan continues to be on the gas for Haven Finney. He's waiting to see kind of what happens at LSU. He's been in touch with Corey Raymond. The family has, but Michigan has remained in the picture with a pulse. Now they're hoping they can get that heartbeat racing by the time you put pen to paper for the early sign-up period.
All right. Now we know Jay Timmons is going to be at Ohio State. But where's Michigan in this recruitment? Is it just very early? Do they need to get him on campus? Have they had a relationship with him? FSU, their commitment looks vulnerable, even though Jay Timmons is a legacy prospect there. But where do they stand with Timmons?
Well, I know you had Wolverine insider E.J. Holland on the Inside Scoop on Wednesday, and he was the one with the news that Michigan is looking to make a late push for Jay Timmons. Easy to see why. He's one of the most talented players in the country, regardless of position, having a fantastic senior season for Pine Richland. He is an NFL legacy recruit. His father was an awesome player at Florida State, a first-round draft pick with a long career in the NFL. And Michigan has a lot of things that kids from those kind of households look for, but they're a new team to the party. Ohio State right now looks like the biggest challenger to Florida State for Jay Timmons. We'll see if Michigan can make a move down the stretch.
All right, Steve, let's finish this Michigan segment with a loaded group of 2027s that will be visiting Ann Arbor this weekend.
Yeah, some touted running backs, Josh, that they're excited about. Noah Roberts from Arizona, Nigel Newkirk from Georgia. Those are two guys that Michigan is in the mix for early in their processes that they would love to get into that position room and push the likes of Savion Hyder, Jonathan Brown, and others moving forward. They got several guys with an offer expected inside the big house. Offensive lineman Sidney Rolu, edge rusher Crew Jones, Rivals 300 receiver Trey Moore is excited to be in Ann Arbor. Brayton Feaster is an athlete target from the state of Ohio that Michigan is all over early in his process. And a very intriguing name, Rivals newly minted #1 player in the state, Miles Smith, an edge rusher expected on campus this weekend. Michigan is not offered yet. Would not be surprising if they do soon. Indiana extended him a scholarship last weekend during his visit to the Hoosiers campus. Michigan trying to get prize receiver Dakota Garant back per E.J. Holland. Garant was at Oregon this past weekend. That was his third time in Eugene. Oregon is definitely a front runner. Michigan is as well. And I know Sharon Moore, Ron Bellamy and company would love to see Dakota Garant back inside the big house Saturday night against the Boilermakers.
Let's talk Tennessee recruiting as the Volunteers are trying to add to their number 8 rated class with a big game this weekend. Tennessee takes on Oklahoma in Knoxville to kick off a pivotal month of November for the Volunteers. Steve, this weekend could go a long way for recruiting, and there's 2 important flip targets taking official visits to Tennessee this weekend.
Yeah, Josh, that list starts with 4-star running back Amari Latimer. The Vols have coveted him since January of 2024. Latimer is currently committed to Wisconsin, where his older brother is a starting defensive back for the Badgers, but it's looking more and more likely that Amari plays his college football elsewhere. Ohio State and Miami are also factors in this recruitment, but Tennessee has remained on the gas the entire process, even throughout his commitment to Wisconsin. This is a top-of-the-board player for Josh Heupel and his staff, regardless of position. Even when they were recruiting Savion Hyder, the #1 tailback in the land, Amari Latimer was someone right there on their board that could always commit anytime, anywhere. Tennessee has been trying to get him on campus and are slated to do so this weekend. He had a great visit to Ohio State earlier this season. Again, Miami is very much involved in this one, but the Vols are a program that would love to land Latimer to this class. Running back, one of the last remaining needs for Josh Heupel and company. Latimer, who's having a terrific senior season, would certainly fill the void, and he'll get red carpet treatment on Rocky Top this weekend.
All right, and also offensive lineman Micah Smith coming in from UCLA.
Kind of a new name for Tennessee. Ohio State certainly involved. Ole Miss, another program that Micah Smith's given a hard look. But Tennessee looking to make a late move with the UCLA commit. He chose the Bruins. Modern recruiting obviously heavily emphasized in that decision to play his college football in Westwood. Ohio State was a program that I thought was always at or near the top of the list for much of his process. Ole Miss making a move this fall. Now Tennessee has the ball in their court, and they'll look to do the same.
All right, intriguing name here. Edge Franklin Whitley is an emerging prospect at the edge position. He's from the state of South Carolina. He's going to be in Knoxville this weekend. Where does Tennessee stand right now?
I think they're in the top three. The Gamecocks are obviously one of those other front runners. He's been there a few times this year. And then Florida State is another school that he speaks highly of. Tennessee, unofficial visit this weekend, Josh, looking to get him back for an official visit for the Vanderbilt game. So there's still a lot of runway for Tennessee in this recruitment right now. They're just now getting revved up. While South Carolina's hosted them a few times already, the Vols are in position, I think, to make a big move down the stretch.
All right, now we're talking 2027, and there's a bunch of big names on campus, but the number one corner, Joshua Dobson, headlines this group. Who else is going to be in Knoxville this weekend, Steve?
Well, I think they're one of the front runners for Joshua Dobson, South Carolina, another, but this is multiple visits to Tennessee. They're doing a great job early in his process. The number 2 running back in the country, he takes a backseat to nobody on Tennessee's board in 2027. David Gabriel Georges, in-state running back from Chattanooga Baylor School. He's back for a second game visit this fall. He has visited numerous times. We've said this a bunch of times on Wiltfong Whiparound. Tennessee, their top target each cycle. They've done a fantastic job of closing him. They are up against Ohio State, Georgia, and a couple others for David Gabriel Georges, and they'll be excited to get him back on campus. 5-star edge David DJ Jacobs from Georgia is coming to campus this weekend. That's someone Tennessee would like to make a move for. His father's got some coaching ties with some people on the Tennessee coaching staff. Number 2 linebacker Caden Henderson from the Sunshine State, also one of the many other blue chippers visiting Knoxville this weekend, ready to be on Rocky Top, soaking in one of the best atmospheres in college football.
We're talking Miami recruiting because the Canes are one of the hottest teams in the country, both on the field and the recruiting trail, and they're looking for another top 10 finish in recruiting under Mario Cristobal. This week, Steve, they added 2 major commits. Wide receiver Milan Paris, who took that official visit over the weekend, and then last night they flipped defensive lineman Kashawn Stansel from Clemson. How did they get those 2 done this week?
Well, let's start with Kashawn Stansel. He was someone that Miami was always a top school for him. He visited last November for a game, returned in the summer for an official visit, went with Clemson the first time around, but Miami never relented as he continued to watch football this fall. The development at Miami, where that program's at, the excitement, what Miami offers off the field. He raved about the academic and business opportunities of playing football at Miami, getting coached by guys with NFL backgrounds, Coach Lewis, Coach Taylor, Mario Cristobal, that energy, the town of Coral Gables. He is now in the fold for Miami, one of the jewels of this class, a major recruiting win at the point of attack for them to go out and land one of their most coveted targets, regardless of position. Milan Paris is a senior riser. Miami wanted to add a big body receiver that could stretch the field. This is a 6'4", 200+ pound kid with terrific speed that is having a fantastic senior season. He is incredibly tough to check with his size, catch radius, route running ability, and the way he stretches the football field. Miami was one of the schools to offer him early when he was still committed to Iowa State. The relationship with Kevin Beard, what Coach Beard has done with the wide receivers at Miami, the exciting offense. He picks Miami over Oregon and Oklahoma, among others. A big recruiting win, a big week for Miami to go out and land a couple rivals 300 recruits as they gear up for a big stretch down the stretch here of the 2026 cycle. And we said it at the start of the season. If Miami's playing in big ball games going into the final month of the year, they're going to be flipping guys and landing top targets at the end of the cycle. And this could just be the beginning of that run on the trail.
All right. And Miami fans, it's not stopping. Steve, you put in a new prediction last night for the Canes to land another standout defensive prospect.
NFL season is about halfway over, and who doesn't love to see their favorite NFL team live and in person? Maybe you're an NHL guy. The NBA season has tipped off, and tickets aren't going to be easy to find. And getting deals on last-minute tickets can be frustrating when all you want to do is be there for the moment your team runs out onto the field, the floor, or skates onto the ice. Well, thankfully, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing ticket experiences, and it only takes a few simple clicks. The app is easy to use. I use it regularly, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, the fees are always included. That's my favorite part. What you see is what you pay. They don't nickel and dime you with some extra dollars at checkout. You can even get to NFL games on Game Time for as low as $100. That's why I use the Game Time app. It's super simple, and it makes the experience of buying great seats a breeze. One of the coolest features I've seen is the Game Time lowest price guarantee. It's where Game Time will credit you 100% of the difference to guarantee you're getting the lowest price if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere. So here's what we're going to do. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the promo code Wiltfong, WILTFONG, for $20 off your first purchase. That's Game Time, last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Yeah, four-star safety Blake Stewart is another that Miami coveted very early that also, like Keyshawn Standstill, committed to Clemson. But Miami got him to campus numerous times, and a couple sources tell me coming out of his decommitment from the Tigers this week that Miami has the edge. So I moved my prediction from Clemson to Miami. Now they got to hold off some programs. He was at Vanderbilt this past weekend. He's been to Georgia Tech this fall. Georgia's looking to get him in for the Texas game, but I think it's Miami setting the tone right now for Blake Stewart, the long-standing relationships, the excitement, the resources, the modern recruiting. They're in a good spot for the Georgia product. They just have to hold off some suitors here down the stretch, but I like where they stand.
All right, speaking of down the stretch, Miami going to try to finish big. Steve, who are some of the big names on the board?
Well, obviously, they'll never stop recruiting guys like five-star edge Tank Jones, four-star defensive lineman Nolan Wilson. Those are going to be tough flips. Running back is a position of emphasis for them.
Yep.
Amari Latimer is a top target from the Peach State that I think that they're in the mix for. He's currently committed to Wisconsin. And there's always going to be conversation with Derek Cooper, Texas commit, local recruit. He was back for the Syracuse game. It just kind of depends on where Miami goes in the modern recruiting race for Derek Cooper. And then they would love to land Amari Latimer, tight end, Gavin Mueller from Illinois, number 7 tight end in the country, per the Rivals 300 rankings. He took an official visit to Miami last weekend, had a great experience, loves where Miami's at as a program, loves his fit with the Hurricanes. He's committed to Colorado. His relationships are better in Boulder. Miami looking to trim that gap on the relationship front. They certainly checked a lot of boxes from a football and school standpoint during his official visit. Everyone loves the way this kid is wired. He's an absolute weight room junkie. He is a film junkie. And he is someone that Colorado's hoping is a difference maker for them, but Miami working to change that late. He chose to visit Miami instead of LSU. That ended up working out. LSU's coaching staff got let go. He visited Miami. It was a great visit for a dominant win over Stanford, and they'll remain on the gas for him moving forward.
Let's talk Texas. The Longhorns have a couple official visitors, some elite juniors heading to Austin for a top 25 showdown between the Commodores and Longhorns. Steve, some big names on campus this weekend, headlined by 5-star quarterback commitment Dia Bell.
Yeah, Dia Bell, Derek Cooper expected back per Inside Texas. The Longhorns have a top 5 recruiting class at this point in the cycle. They're looking to add to it down the stretch. They'll have a couple guys committed elsewhere or uncommitted that will be checking out Austin this weekend. Things are picking up fast with both of these guys. Linebacker Karan Maycock committed to Florida State. He told me, we'll see how it goes when I visit, and whatever happens regarding his FSU status. Got to make the best decision for me. And he likes the way that Texas produces at every position of the league. Said the coaching is great. Former UCLA safety commit Torrey Davis is going to visit this weekend as well. Things are picking up fast. The Longhorns offered on October 20th. Now he's taking a visit. Arizona State, Iowa, and Washington, some other programs that offered. He visited Wisconsin earlier this month. Now coming to Texas, it seems like it's setting up well for the Longhorns for Torrey Davis.
All right. Now, there's going to be a huge group of 2027s on campus as well. Who are some of the big names you're expecting?
Well, I think the biggest name to highlight right now, Josh, is Easton Royal, Rivals' number one ranked receiver in the country, a top 5 player overall on the Rivals 300. And this is a visit he's really been looking forward to. The Longhorns are one of the early front runners in the mix for Easton Royal. He's getting close to narrowing down his offers, and this is a visit that he was really looking forward to. We've seen Texas close some of the best receivers in the country. I expect them to be on the gas and be one of the formidable programs in the recruitment for Easton Royal. Obviously, you have LSU in the mix. Ole Miss has done a fantastic job early. He likes Ohio State, Oregon, and USC. Texas, very prominent for the Louisiana product, Easton Royal.